Well, hey crafty friends, it's Hiedi Scott with DiyDreaming, and on this video tutorial today we're going to do painted pinecone flowers. Okay, and this is just going to be the first time that we do it because I need to figure out a better way to cut them. And then we can use some of my big pine cones that I picked up out in California. But anyways, as you're hopping on, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Feel free to sprinkle, feel free to ask questions, all that good kind of stuff. Okay, so where to even start? All right, well, I have these gigantic pine cones that are just beautiful that I picked up out in California. I discovered that they are pretty darn solid, and there was just absolutely no way I could cut. Because what you want to do to make pinecone flowers is you want to do slices. Depending on how big the pinecone is how many slices you could get, and that is what creates your flower. So after struggling with that for a few hours, then I moved to some pinecones that I had just tucked away in my basement like these. This was a project one year for New Year's or Christmas or something where I painted the edge of all of these pine cones that came from my yard with silver paint. So I'm all about repurposing things, and I pulled these out, plus I went out into my yard and I grabbed some more pine cones. Okay, this size is much easier to work with, but it's still kind of difficult, and it might just be that my pruning shears, or whatever these are called, both of them, are pretty dull. So maybe if you have a better way to cut your pine cones, you might have better luck. But anyways, the very first step, believe it or not, is to get a cookie sheet and put a piece of tin foil on it, and put your pine cones, if they're fresh from nature, on the tin foil, because sometimes there's sap and you don't want that on your cookie sheets, and put it in your oven anywhere between 180 degrees and 200 to 20 degrees for 30 minutes to an hour. Why? Well, if they're moist, if they have any moisture on them, it's going to dry them out. Also, if they have any critters in them, which if you got them in your backyard, in a park, you know, somewhere in your little town, they probably do have a few little critters living inside of them. So you want to get those out. And baking is the easiest way. So step one is bake them for 30 minutes to an hour at least. Okay, then the next thing is to cut them. And I'm going to show you some examples of ones that I've cut. So for example, I would just put my shears like partially through this. I don't want to get crumbs all over, but like this. And then you're just going to snip it, and then you would do one more, okay? But it is super messy, and I've cleaned up my craft desk about 10 times already, so I don't want to mess it up. So you're going to get something that looks like this. And you can do this side, or you could do this side. Here's another one. This is the bottom piece. Or these ones were small. These are the top pieces you could do. Okay, and then you can decide, oh my gosh, you guys, and I have a whole full project that involves cork from Dollar Tree cookie sheets. So it's going to be super fun, so stay with me. I mean, seriously. Okay, so then the next thing you want to do is figure out what your color scheme is going to be. And I'm going to do a bouquet of pinecone flowers that have pastel colors. They're going to be creamy colored with, most of them will have a natural center. And then they're going to have little bits of pastel colors on the ends of the little flower petals, which are these. And some will have them in the middle. Okay, so I started with this. Waverly Plaster is the color, acrylic paint from Walmart. This is my favorite. I love this stuff. I use it for Oh my gosh, so many different things. Okay, so then I just have a mason jar full of brushes right here. And they're just cruddy ones. And so I am just going to be I'm going to leave this part plain. Where can I set this? I want to trim it just a little bit. So this is going to be the center of our flower. So you're going to paint your petals, and then you're going to paint the underneath ones too. Your base color, if you're doing this style. And this morning I posted a whole bunch of painted pine cone pictures from Pinterest. Say that 3 times fast. Painted pine cone pictures from Pinterest. That had all different styles. So really, this is just completely personal preference, how you want to do it. I just decided I wanted to do pastel. Or kind of pastel. So now I'm trying to cover the underneath, not all the way, but the underneath petals, so that when you see this, you don't see the brown. And if you work in sections, it's easier to do it that way. Okay, so that is what I have so far. Now let me just adjust how I'm holding on to it. This is a messy project, just beware. And pine cones, did you guys know this? Holy moly, they have the sharpest, especially these great big ones, they have sharp points at the end of each little, whatever these things are called. And I can't even tell you how many pine cone slivers. It's like getting a sliver, like a needle. I've gotten on my hands from working with them. And I also got a pine cone cut, which is kind of like a paper cut. I'll show you. So you could wear gloves if you wanted. But if you're doing this project with little ones, you might want to just look at your pine cones before you let them get started and try to snip off any of the super sharp points. Okay, I'm going to say that's good. I mean, there's always going to be bits that you could have gotten better. Okay, so I want to show you what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. Ow. These things right here at the point, you can see it better now, of each little, whatever these things are called on the pine cones, they are sharp. And I got, oh gosh, oh, right here. I got a pine cone like paper cut, and then I had slivers where that broke off in my fingers. So just beware. Do I bake them before crafting? Yes, Carol, because they could have critters in them. And also you want them dry. So if you took them from nature, they might not be fully dry yet. Okay, so I'm going to set these guys aside. And I'm going to set this one over here on a paper towel. And before I came live, I painted a few of these little puppies so we could be ready to play. And these are the colors that I had. You use whatever colors you like. They're all that same Waverly brand. This one is called Scallion. This one right here is called Maize, which is Spanish for corn. This one is Merlot. I was wanting a lavenderish color, so I just added some of this cream to it to lighten it up. This one is called Ballet Slippers. It's a pretty pink. And this one is called Lagoon. And I diluted this one just a little bit too. Okay, so let's do Lagoon. And I have my glue gun heating up over here, but let's make a little palette. I'm just gonna pour a teeny, teeny, teeny bit of this cream colored paint from Walmart on my paper plate. And my hands are in terrible shape. I'm going to do just a teeny bit of this blue because it's not going to take much. And then let's do some more of this ballet slipper. This was pretty. I liked this one. And let's do a little bit of the yellow. Okay, so what do I like about this project? Well, for the most part, pine cones, if you can find them in nature, they're free or practically free. So I love starting a project with something like that. And then it's just a little different and you can totally put your creative spin on them. And I think that's really fun. Okay, so let's start with the blue. And I'm just going to take a teeny bit of blue and drag it over here into my cream. And I'm making a light blue color. Okay. And then here's one that I painted, one coat of that cream color. Ooh, that's maybe too light. And I'm just going to put it, like a blob of it, on the tip of each one of these little petals. So from the pictures that I posted this morning, you should be able to get a ton of ideas. Really what I want to do is just walk you through the steps today and then encourage you to give it a try and make the project your own, make it in your own style, your own colors, whatever appeals to you. Okay, so there we go. And I think I might put just a smidge in towards the very center also. I'll show you this up close. And I will get super close-up pictures also. So isn't that pretty? Okay, and then let's do the, I'm just looking, the yellow on this one. And I'm not going to dilute the yellow because it's perfect the way it is. Although I need to get a new bottle of yellow because mine is kind of thick and it. So I'm just putting a little dab of it on the ends. And I'm working in sections from the top to the bottom. You don't have to be neat for this part at all. In fact, I think probably the messier, the better. So what do you guys think about this idea? Do you like it? I'm excited about it. I definitely want to do more of this. I think if I had a bandsaw, you know, one of those ones that you pull up the blade and it just goes down, that I could chop up my big pine cones and make some beautiful flowers. And I want to make some this summer that are patriotic, that have red, white, and blue on them. So we'll definitely do some more pinecone flowers. I just gotta figure out a better way to cut them. So I don't know. If you have suggestions, please tell me. Susan says she thinks it's very interesting. Is that code, when you say interesting, is that code for weird? Or are you just being nice, or do you really think it's interesting? I think it's interesting because this is the kind of stuff I like to do, but then I'm just getting the edges. I'm trying not to get myself poked. Okay, so that is what that looks like. And I'm not gonna do the inside part on this one. These dry super fast. Okay, now let's do one of these smaller ones. And this was just a smaller pine cone. So is this one. Let's do this one. It's just a smaller pine cone. Let's do pink. You could paint the center of each one of these if you wanted. I just opted not to do that. I'm going to leave that part natural on mine, but it's whatever you like. Okay, so stay with me because we're going to start assembling in just a second. I have my glue gun heated up. I'm going to show you how to make a cute mason jar out of some cork from Dollar Tree and a Dollar Tree cookie sheet. Okay, there's that one. Okay. Now, one other thing I have working is I was able to pull out a few big pieces from these larger pine cones, and I just painted them, one side of them, with this color. We're gonna just play and see. This is what they look like natural. If they could work as leaves, I don't know. We'll see how that works. Okay, so, where should I even start? Okay, well, I had these little signs that started their life like this at Hobby Lobby. And I just took the beads off and painted over the top of it. I didn't do a super great job because I'm going to cover up the spot where the words were. And I used this same plaster color paint. Oh my gosh, it's a mess here, you guys. Oh, and that kind of drives me crazy. Okay, so just using a piece of computer paper, where's my little pattern? I folded a piece of computer paper in half and kind of came up with my own little pattern of what a mason jar could or should look like. And it was about the right scale for this, okay? And then I traced it on the back of one of these Crafters Square piece of adhesive cork sheet. Okay, so these are $1, $1.25, $1.50, whatever your Dollar Tree charges. And they're in the crafting section, and they're just thin sheets of cork that have an adhesive back on it. So I traced it, and I cut it out, and this is what I got. Then I took my Dollar Tree cookie sheet, and I've seen several other crafters, some of my favorite ones, do this. So I'm not saying I'm the first one to do it. I'm just showing you what the idea that I got. This outside part here on your cookie sheets, and these come in a package of 2 from Dollar Tree. It can look like the top of a mason jar. It's super cool. So I just traced it, where did mine go? In the shape at the top of my mason jar. And we're going to glue that on. And then we'll pull the adhesive back off. Look at that. Does that look like the lid on one of these mason jars or a pickle jar? It's a little bit crooked, but that's okay. Isn't that adorable? Okay, and so now I'm going to just take this adhesive back off. And we're going to stick our mason jar right here, and this sign is going to go this way. So I didn't even have to glue that down because it was adhesive. What do you guys think so far? Do you like it? Would you have thought to do the cookie sheet? These cookie sheets, by the way, if you've never worked with them, they are great. I use my punches on them all the time. They're, it's like a tin that is thin enough for you to cut with scissors. They do have sharp edges, so be careful. But you can do a ton of really creative fun things with these. They can be added to a lot of different projects. Okay, so this is what we have so far. And now let's just start playing with. These are some of the ones that I painted before I came live. This one. And this is the one that I diluted the purple. And here's the yellow. I'm just gonna, this was I painted the edges of this one green, and part of the little things broke out, but I thought, that's okay, I can put it sort of underneath another pine cone and camouflage that. You might need to use this one because it's flatter. And same with this one. No, it's too big. Okay, so I'm going to start gluing a few pieces down. I'm not really sure how much glue this will take, but I'll lift it up in just a second and show you. There is the start of our pinecone flowers in a mason jar. And we could stencil something cute on here. We could doll it up with some ribbon. There's a lot of different things that we could do with that. Oh my gosh, so cute. And these pine cones were completely free. I mean, I love crafting with things that are free. Glue right here. Okay, and this one that has the little broken spot, I'm going to kind of pop it underneath one of these other flowers so that you don't see that. Is that so cute or what? Oh my gosh. This right here, this hole right here, is where this clippy do right here was attached to it. So I'm just going to cover it. We'll do something, a bigger one there. Or maybe we'll do a smaller one. Let me see. Let me play and think a little bit. We need to get this other purple one in. wasn't sure how this was going to turn out, but I think it's going to be adorable. And it might end up being one of my favorite projects. Okay, let's experiment for a second with these little bits that I painted and see if that would be cute at all to pop those in there. I think it would. It'd be hard to get them in, but I think it would be cute, so I'm going to do that. Just a few. And really, it'll just give a little bit more color to my project. So I'm not going to go crazy with those, but I'll do at least 3. Put a bigger one here, a smaller one here. Oh my gosh, so cute. This one's still wet, and now I have green paint all over my thumb. Let's see. Let's just dry this one off a little bit. Okay, let me lift this up and show you. So tell me what you think so far, if you're liking it, and just imagine, oh my gosh, all the zillions of different things that you could do. Okay, let's put this blue one right here. I don't know, I'm torn. What do you guys think? Is that enough? Or does this blue one need a leaf or 2? Yeah, it could use one leaf. And I know this blue one's kind of floating out in outer space a little bit, but I needed something to cover up that hole. So, Kiki says, love, love, love it. I do too. Oh my gosh, I think it's so adorable. So just to review, you want to, if your pine cones actually came from nature, you didn't purchase them at a craft store, then you want to bake them for 30 minutes to an hour on 200, 220, 180, you know, pretty, not a super hot oven, but you want to bake them for 30 minutes to an hour to dry them out and to get the critters out of them. And then I used these to cut mine, but I am convinced that if you had one of those table saws that has the blade that you just pull down and it goes bzzz, that you could do a much better job cutting your pine cones. And oh, this is so cute. And then I painted them cream, or plaster is the name of this color. And then I just added a little bit to the tips. This one I did a little bit more. And then these were some bigger pieces of pine cones that I painted green and just popped in here. The mason jar is made out of a sheet of cork that has an adhesive back from Dollar Tree. And the top of the mason jar is made from the edge of one of these Dollar Tree cookie sheets. And then we have a little hot glue. We could add a ribbon. I could put a little, like a stem, using some twine or something to pull this into the other thing. You could doll it up with a messy bow, with a stencil. There's tons of different things that you could do to doll it up. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I was really not sure what it would look like, and I think it turned out adorable. So I will get pictures of this project and the pine cones up close. If you decide to do this project, I would love to see pictures of what you make. So hop over to that group that I set up for us to share pictures of our craft projects and share ideas. It's called Dreamy DIY. It's a Facebook group. It's free. And answer the questions asked to join, and then share pictures of whatever you decide to make. Whatever kind of pine cone flowers, what color, what style you decide to make, share pictures with all of us over there. So don't hesitate to ask questions. Let's move this out of my way in case somebody wants to do a quick screenshot. Let's see, do this, or say something to me in the comments if you want to see what I have coming up. Those things help Facebook decide if they're going to serve my content to you, and if you want to see it. That's really the best way to do it. Oh, thank you, Cindy, for the stars. That's so nice of you. Alrighty, if you missed the beginning of the video, you can go back when I'm finished being live and watch it on replay. It would be pretty to have a butterfly on one of these. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm just answering a comment here. My goal at DIY Dreaming is not to do the very best painted pine cones. It's to show you how to do it, to give you the idea so that you can do it yourself in your color, your style, to go in your decor, or as a gift, or that kind of thing. So I'm pretty pleased with how they turned out, and I hope this will inspire you to do these. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Feel free to sprinkle this to your Facebook page, or if you're in any crafting groups, feel free to do that there too. And anyways, I hope you liked our little pinecone project in a mason jar on a repurposed frame. Alrighty, I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. I hate to say goodbye and turn it off when people are doing thumbs and hearts. But I will get pictures, and I'll put them here in the comments and also just on DIY Dreaming. Have a blessed rest of your day. Thanks for joining me.